Welcome everyone to another episode of Comics and Beyond. This episode is a bit of a special episode. Um, Originally, I had planned to do a sort of catch-up video on the books that I picked up the last 2 weeks of December. I decided not to do it. The books are I already kept those books, and two of those books are three of them actually are actually going on sale this coming week. So I see no point in reviewing those books. Um, Whatever I have to say about them, I'll be saying them uh, in my poll video. Uh, and I was also going to talk about TV shows that I liked, that I've watched, old shows or what I'm watching now. Uh, I'll do that next in the next episode. Uh, Hopefully that one will go up on Sunday because this episode I'm going to post on Monday morning. Um, so you may have noticed that I haven't been doing a lot of videos lately, and part of it has to do with the fact that my books have been coming late to the shop. They usually arrive on Wednesday. They go on sale Wednesday afternoon. So I usually go and pick them up on Thursdays. But for the past couple of weeks, they have been coming on Thursday. And so I have to go until Friday to pick them up. So I haven't felt like doing full videos on Saturday because it usually gets a little bit complicated for me at times. Usually I have other things on Saturday, maybe go out to eat, or I'm just not in the mood to do videos, or I'm very tired out for because of the feeling a bit tired as well. Or like I said, I'm not just in the mood, and knowing that I have to do a comics and beyond on Sundays, I kind of felt that the videos are a little too close. So when I do a full video on Friday, and then comics and beyond on Sundays, I have it's not so close. There's a days difference there. Uh, so in this episode, I'm gonna be showing, um, and I make an emphasis on showing the books that I picked up. I won't comment on them because I have those books. I'm also gonna recommend a miniseries that I've just reread. Uh, so I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that mini than the books, and even before that, I'm gonna do a lot of talking for um, talking about what I have planned for 2014 for my YouTube channel. So first off, this year, actually in April, uh, it will be my first anniversary of making videos. I've been on YouTube since 2007, but I hadn't made any videos until last April. So this coming April, I'll be one. It will be my 1 year anniversary. Making videos. Um, so I'm gonna plan to do, something special for that 1 year anniversary. Um, um, so look for that. You know, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I still have like 3 months to plan something, but that's something you should be aware of, that I might be doing something. I can't test or something. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. When the time comes, I'll talk about it with much more detail on what I have planned for my 1 year anniversary. Next, as well, another important thing I want to do with this channel, uh, and that this actually, just came to me recently. Been thinking a lot about it. So I've mentioned once or twice that I have a blog which I haven't been active for the past 2 years, cause life kind of got in the way a bit on that. Started that blog, when I was looking for work. Uh, after I left my previous job, which was I worked for the Mexico City government for a while. Um, I got there because of my dad, and I left when my dad left. You know, his job in that government office, because of a lot of pressure for my dad, but also because they were changing administration. This usually happens a lot in these government jobs where you know they remove a guy, or someone leaves, and they bring somebody new, and this new person usually brings his own people. So in many ways, uh I didn't feel that it was right to stay in that job as well. I don't know what was going to happen, you know when they were bringing in a new director to that particular office. um so I started a blog soon after, with the vision of making it into some sort of variety magazine. I have a lot of interest in pulp magazines. um I hope that this year I actually do get to buy a pulp magazine, um or two. I don't know. Um and that's sort of a bit of what I wanted to do with this blog. Post my stories. I like to write, but also add a lot of other interesting things. Reviews on books and TV shows, music. All my interest, and talk about that, and of course comic books. And my first reviews actually were of uh, when the New 52 started. So that was way back in 2011, late 2011, when I pretty much started the blog. Uh, but running out of material to add, original material to add, uh, story wise, to the blog, I sort of started to focus a little bit more on the comics, and that wasn't something I was interested in doing at that time, because there were a ton of other comic book blogs. So soon after, I got my job at the insurance company, so that kept me very busy. With when I started, through the whole capacitation course. The whole course where you know um, to learn about the insurance industry. That kept me busy. Then visiting clients kept me busy, and I sort of abandoned the blog. Um, and It wasn't until things started getting kind of difficult with the insurance thing. The office I worked closed at least twice before being finally shut for good. Um, I started to write again, but not for the blog. I was actually trying to sell a few short stories, but it wasn't as fun as writing for the blog. Um, um, so I sort of didn't go back to it for a very long time, and recently actually got a comment on a review I did for Somerset Mom's The Razor's Edge, which uh, kind of made me think, okay, I have this blog, I'm looking for another job now. I don't want to stick with insurance. No, so right now is a good time to, go back to my writing. And so, I'm going to revamp the blog in a way that it connects with what I'm doing right here on YouTube. So while I might still do something different in the blog, I will focus it more on comics and what I'm talking about here on YouTube. So I may have interesting thoughts on a book. I'm gonna use the blog to talk in much more detail on that, elaborate more on my thoughts on a book, or do reviews like I used to do when I started the blog. Um, I'll still be doing reviews here. In fact, I hope that later this week I actually get to review the books that I actually picked up this week. So I will be leaving in the description box the link to my blog, and if you follow, and my Twitter account as well, so that you can follow me and learn when a new update uh, to the blog is coming as well. I will also leave a link on that specific article as well. Um, if there's a specific article that kind of links to the stuff I'm talking about here on YouTube. So I've gone on for almost 40 minutes on this. Finally, and this is something else that I've been thinking since last year, is to do more live stuff. So uh, hopefully, one of these days I'll probably do as in part as a test to learn the whole Google Plus thing. I'll be probably do either a live Comics and Beyond on Saturday maybe, or a live pool video as well. So instead of doing the books that I picked up this week, and do a pre-recorded pool video, probably just do a live, and I also want to finally try to be in more hangouts, and I usually comment on the hangouts, but be much more, try to be I really enjoyed my one and only failed hangout, my appearance in Comic Book Roundtable that one time. So I'll probably one of these days ask to be on Comic Book Roundtable, and be much more active in the YouTube comic book community as well. So that's what I'll be um, hoping to do this year. For my YouTube channel, kind of get the creative juices flowing as well. Go back to my writing, for fun, not because I feel like I have to write. Because I've been writing a little bit, but I haven't really enjoyed what I've been doing. Uh, Part of it is because I kind of felt obligated to write because I've been trying to sell a few short stories, so that wasn't very fun. Because I feel like I had to come up with a story and see if I could sell that, but I haven't had a good story to tell lately that I feel passionate about. I've started a few and I stopped because I'm just not feeling it. So any sort of type of writing will certainly help on me getting back to it. So enough talking. Now let's go to the books. So this week was a very slow week, and when I mean very slow, I mean really slow. I only had one book for in my radar pool, um, which at times I do really like, the second week of the month because it sort of lets me, try new things. Um, go more into the back issue boxes as well. Um, um, so a new book came out this past week that I was curious to check out. So I got that. So anyway, to the books. First up, Superman Wonder Woman number 4. This is a really great cover, and the story inside is probably the best I've read in a long, at least the best book I've read so far this month. This year actually, and we're just starting it, so that might change next week. Who knows? And next, Skyman number 1. I was very curious about it. I'm actually, if you watched, I guess, my last video, I'm pretty excited at what Dark Horse is doing, especially now that they're losing the Star Wars stuff. Their superhero line is starting to take off, and pretty much Skyman number 1 is pretty much the book that's sort of kicking this whole project Black Sky, which is the superhero line from Dark Horse, into high gear. So those are the new books that I picked up, and if you've been watching my past couple of videos, I'm talking about Ghost, which is a reboot version of a character from the 90s that Dark Horse had, which is also part of their whole Project Black Sky of superhero line. So I've been picking up a few back issues from the older series. So last week I actually picked up issue 2 of I picked anyway. Last week I showed, I believe that was issue 4 from the first series, and the week before that I picked up issue 2 from the second series, the second volume. So this week I picked up 2 Ghost back issues. So the first one, this is actually in chronological order. So First off, Ghost number volume 2 number 3. This is from 1998. And Ghost number 1 from the first issue of the Smoke and Din miniseries by Kali Sudekanek and Phil Noto. This is the first part of the miniseries. So those are the books that I picked up this week, and hopefully uh, uh, this week I'll actually do a much more in-depth review of these two books. Um, um, so moving on. Um, so speaking of Phil Noto, back in 2008 there was a five-issue five-issue miniseries that was a bi-weekly. Started in November of 2008 and ended in January of 2009. So, but it's all cover dated January through March of 2009. So this miniseries was written or co-written by Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray, and it's called Superman, Supergirl, Milestorm. The title actually is the name of the villain of the main villain of the book. So I'll just so anyway, so here's issue 1. Issue 2, issue 3, number 4, and number 5. So I don't want to get into too much detail on what the story is about. That's why you should pick it up. But simply put, I guess it could be considered as a bit of a love story. Milestorm, which is Milestorm, is a slave of Apocalypse. She's born a slave who aspires to be more. In fact, she's in love with Darkseid, so she tries to impress Darkseid by killing Superman and bringing him his head. Of course, she doesn't succeed, and Darkseid doesn't really need any sort of concubine. So there's that sort of weird sort of love story between Milestorm and Darkseid. So, but it's more of a crush, or or a one-sided thing. A sort of love that does have a bit of that romantic feeling, at least from Milestorm, to that sort of obsessive, worshipy type thing of love, I guess, or fanatical thing, Lord Darkseid, whatever. But it's also a love story of about family love, Superman, for the most part, and at least a large amount of the story actually takes place in alien world, where Superman has taken Supergirl on a camping trip to train her to not depend too much on her powers, but at the same time of just being sort of a survival training. Superman also tries to use it as a way to connect with Supergirl, to get to know her, to bond with her, because at this point Supergirl wasn't you know, hanging out with Superman too much. So in part, this is sort of part of what rehabilitating Supergirl, because as I mentioned before, at least the first 33 issues of the pre-New 52 Supergirl were pretty horrible, and Supergirl was a very unsympathetic character, at least in her book. Outside her book, she was well written, but within her book, she was, very, she was, a brat. I think people actually started to compare her to Britney. Actually, Britney Spears, so they sort of call her Super Britney because she was just so annoying, and you kind of get to see a little bit of that in the mini series. But it's also sort of a coming of age thing, you know, a sort of rites of passage as well, where Supergirl, sort of went from being sort of bratty. I mean, she's really snarky in the book, which makes it kind of fun. It's a very fun miniseries. Uh, to sort of, um, growing up a bit more. There is a bonding moment between Superman and Supergirl. Supergirl kind of starts to get, the point that Superman's trying to make, as well as, she sort of grows up a bit. Uh, and, at the time this miniseries was coming out, um, the new writing team, oh, the new writer Sterling Gates, I believe, already had his uh, had started his run. So Sterling Gates, who uh, actually writes Vibe and wrote the horrendous Hawk and Dove series of the New 52, did a great job with Supergirl, and pretty much took away all the bad stuff that had come before. So it sort of falls before the current Supergirl series, like um, before the Supergirl series, before maybe before issues 34 where the new team started. So so there's it's fun. It's a fun series. Supergirl does grow up a bit more. Does become a bit more heroic, and she kind of got the point that the Superman was trying to teach her as well. Um, so it's a Superman Supergirl milestone. Um, so you should really check it out. It's a fun series, and you know um, I'll guess that's it for this week. So check out the link below that I'm gonna put, and and as I always say, until next time, keep smiling.